There's a power in silence that most people underestimate. In a world where everyone is rushing to speak, to prove their worth, or to grab the spotlight, silence stands out. Silence is not weakness, it's strength. It's a sign of someone who knows they don't have to shout to be heard. Think about it. When you're silent, you hear things others miss. You notice the details, the subtle cues, the whispers of opportunity. The truth is, silence isn't about doing nothing. It's about preparing yourself, aligning with your purpose, and waiting for the right moment. Patience and silence go hand in hand. They teach you discipline. While others are panicking, rushing, or forcing their way, you're steady. You understand that forcing what isn't ready is like pulling a fruit off a tree before it's ripe. You'll only ruin the potential of what could have been. Nature itself teaches us this lesson. Look at a river, calm, steady, yet it carves through mountains over time. It doesn't fight its way forward. It flows naturally, finding its path, wearing down the obstacles in its way with quiet persistence. Silence also shows confidence. When you're silent, you don't have to explain yourself to everyone. You're not seeking validation. You trust that the right people, the right opportunities, and the right moments will align with you. The energy you put out will call those things back to you, naturally. We live in a time where people want instant results. They shout louder, post more, demand attention, and wonder why they feel burned out or unfulfilled. Silence is the opposite. It's a quiet assurance that you don't have to chase. What's meant for you will find its way to you, if you're patient, if you're prepared, and if you trust the process. Being silent doesn't mean you're not working. It means you're not announcing every step you take. It means you're focused on becoming ready for the opportunity before it arrives. Because when it does, you won't have to force anything. You'll just be ready. Silence carries a strength that often goes unnoticed in a world full of noise. People tend to associate power with loudness, with the ability to command attention in a crowded room or dominate a conversation. But true power doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't have to prove anything. Silence is an unspoken declaration of strength, a quiet confidence that speaks louder than words ever could. Think about it. When you're in the presence of someone who doesn't rush to fill every silence with words, you notice them more. They stand out because their calmness is magnetic. There's an aura about them that says, I know who I am, and I don't need to explain it to you. That kind of quiet confidence is rare, and because it's rare, it's powerful. Silence is also a tool for clarity. When you're silent, you give yourself the space to think, to observe, and to understand. While others are busy talking, competing for attention, or trying to control the narrative, you're absorbing everything. You're noticing the details that others miss, the tone of a conversation, the expressions that reveal more than words, and the opportunities hidden in plain sight. In silence, you're not just listening to others, you're also listening to yourself. You're tuning into your instincts, aligning with your intuition, and finding your inner strength. In silence, you're unshakable. Words can often be used as weapons. People may criticize you, challenge you, or try to provoke you into reacting. But silence disarms them. It shows them that you don't need to engage on their terms. When you stay silent, you maintain control, not just over the situation, but over yourself. It's a display of emotional intelligence, a refusal to let others dictate your energy or your actions. Silence isn't just about what you don't say, it's about the energy you project. There's a power in being unhurried, in knowing that you don't have to prove your worth to anyone. When you walk into a room and you're silent, people feel your presence. They may not know why, but they sense it. Silence, paired with confidence, creates an impact that lingers long after you've left. In a world that often equates noise with influence, silence becomes a form of rebellion. It says, I don't need to compete for your attention. My presence speaks for itself. That's the kind of power that leaves an impression. It's not about being invisible. It's about being unforgettable. And the best part, it's authentic. There's no pretense in silence, no performance. It's just you, secure in who you are, without the need for validation or approval. Silence is a strength that doesn't waver. It's a reminder that power isn't about volume, it's about presence. It's about knowing that you don't need to force anything, you don't have to shout to be heard or act to be seen. Silence, when used wisely, is a language all its own, one that only the strongest know how to speak. Silence offers a unique opportunity to observe the world in ways most people overlook. In the rush to talk, explain, or justify, people often miss the finer details of life, the ones that carry the most meaning. When you remain silent, you step out of the noise, and in doing so, you position yourself to see what others cannot. Observation becomes your strength, your edge, your guide. When you're silent, you're not just watching the obvious, you're noticing the subtle, the way someone pauses before they speak, the slight change in their tone, or the shift in their body language. All of these small, seemingly insignificant moments tell a story. Words may hide intentions, but actions and expressions reveal them. Silence gives you the time and focus to read between the lines, to see what's really happening beneath the surface. It's not just about people, though. Silence allows you to observe your surroundings with clarity. It opens your eyes to the rhythm of life around you. You start to notice opportunities that others miss because they're too preoccupied with making noise or trying to get ahead. A quiet moment of reflection can reveal solutions to problems, inspire ideas, or help you recognize a path forward that wasn't obvious before. Silence sharpens your perception, making you more aware of your environment and your place within it. But observation through silence isn't limited to the external world. It also turns inward. When you're silent, you give yourself the chance to listen to your own thoughts and feelings without the influence of others. You become more aware of your instincts, your fears, and your desires. You start to understand what drives you, what holds you back, and what you need to focus on. This self-awareness is a powerful tool, one that can only be accessed in the stillness of silence. In silence, you gain a perspective that others can't see because they're too busy talking. It's like standing on a hill and watching the chaos unfold below. While others are lost in the fray, you're able to step back, observe, and make decisions with clarity. Silence gives you the advantage of distance, a chance to process, to strategize, and to act with intention rather than impulse. When you're quiet, people tend to underestimate you. They assume silence is passivity or a lack of involvement. What they don't realize is that silence is your greatest weapon. It allows you to gather information, to analyze situations, and to prepare for your next move. By the time they're done talking, you've already figured out your next step. Silence also commands attention. When you're the one not speaking in a room full of voices, people start to notice you more. They wonder what you're thinking, what you're planning. It creates an air of mystery, a quiet confidence that draws people in. While others are distracted, you're fully present, fully aware, fully ready to seize the moment when it comes. Patience and silence are a powerful combination, working together to instill discipline and self-control in a way few other practices can. In a world that prizes instant gratification, the ability to wait without frustration or haste is a rare and invaluable skill. When combined with silence, patience becomes a tool for growth, reflection, and understanding, a quiet strength that enables you to move forward with purpose and precision. When you're patient, you resist the urge to force things before they're ready. It's like tending to a garden. You can water the plants, ensure they get sunlight, and remove weeds, but you can't rush the process of growth. Pulling at the leaves or digging up the roots to check progress only ruins what could have flourished naturally. Patience teaches you to trust the timing, to believe that what is meant to bloom will do so when the conditions are right. In the same way, silence complements patience by creating the space needed for reflection. Instead of reacting impulsively or chasing after outcomes, you pause. You give yourself room to think, to observe, and to understand. This silence isn't inactivity, it's preparation. It's about using the stillness to align yourself with the flow of life rather than fighting against it. Patience also teaches you discipline by helping you manage your emotions. When you're waiting for something, an opportunity, a result, or even an answer, it's easy to become restless. Doubt creeps in. You wonder if you're doing enough or if the wait is even worth it. But when you combine patience with silence, you quiet those doubts. You remind yourself that growth takes time and that rushing only leads to mistakes. You stay calm, grounded, and focused, knowing that your consistent efforts will yield results. Patience and silence are especially powerful in the face of challenges. Life often throws obstacles in your path, and your first instinct might be to fight back immediately, to push harder, or to force a solution. But patience teaches you that not every battle needs to be fought in the moment. Silence helps you step back, assess the situation, and find a better way forward. Sometimes the best course of action is to wait, to let things unfold naturally, and to strike when the time is right. Together, patience and silence create a sense of inner peace. You stop chasing after what isn't ready for you and instead focus on becoming ready for it. You use the time to prepare yourself, to grow, and to refine your skills. When the opportunity finally arrives, you won't need to force your way in because you'll already be ready to step into it with confidence. In a world that moves quickly, patience and silence stand out as acts of resistance. They teach you to trust the process, to value the journey, and to find strength in the stillness. They show you that true discipline comes not from trying to control everything, but from letting go and allowing life to unfold at its own pace. Nature has a way of teaching us lessons if we take the time to observe. One of its greatest teachings comes from the quiet persistence of a river. A river doesn't shout as it flows. It doesn't force its way forward with haste or aggression. Instead, it moves with patience and purpose, carving its path over time, even through the mightiest mountains. This natural rhythm offers a powerful metaphor for life. You don't have to fight every obstacle head-on. Instead, you can flow, adapt, and let your persistence do the work. When you look at a river, you see how it maneuvers through the landscape. It doesn't try to go where it can't. It doesn't resist the rocks or attempt to push through them with brute force. It simply flows around, finding the easiest path. Over time, that consistent flow erodes even the hardest surfaces. What seems impossible to move is gradually shaped by the gentle yet steady current. This is the quiet power of persistence. Achieving great results not through loud effort, but through unwavering determination. This lesson is especially important in moments of struggle. When faced with challenges, people often react with frustration or aggression, trying to solve problems immediately and at all costs. But, just like a river, sometimes the best approach is to pause, assess the situation, and find the path of least resistance. It's not about giving up. It's about moving forward in a way that conserves your energy and avoids unnecessary conflict. The river teaches you that patience and adaptability can achieve what force cannot. Another key lesson from the river is that consistency matters more than speed. The river isn't in a rush, yet it accomplishes extraordinary feats over time. It smooths out jagged rocks, nourishes the land around it, and creates pathways that shape entire ecosystems. In life, it's easy to feel pressure to succeed quickly or to make drastic changes overnight. But the river reminds you that small, consistent actions add up. By showing up every day, even in small ways, you can create significant changes over time. The river also reminds us of the importance of adaptability. Its flow is never rigid. It changes with the seasons, the terrain, and the obstacles it encounters. When faced with a dam, it doesn't stop. It finds another way around. In the same way, life often requires us to adapt to circumstances beyond our control. Instead of resisting change, we can learn to flow with it, finding new paths and opportunities that may lead us to places we never expected. Finally, the river teaches us the value of silence. Its power is not in its noise, but in its quiet perseverance. It doesn't need to announce its strength. It simply moves forward, unbothered by what others may think or say. This kind of quiet confidence is invaluable. It reminds us that we don't have to shout to make progress. Like the river, we can trust in our own flow and let our consistent efforts speak for themselves over time. Silence and confidence are deeply connected, forming a powerful combination that speaks volumes without saying a word. In a world where people often feel the need to explain, justify, or seek validation, silence stands out as a mark of someone who is self-assured. It's a rare quality that commands attention without demanding it, a quiet strength that draws others in and leaves a lasting impression. Confidence doesn't need to be loud or boastful. True confidence exists in stillness. When you're silent, you convey that you're comfortable with yourself, that you trust your abilities, and that you don't need external approval to validate your worth. This quiet assurance creates an aura of respect and intrigue. People begin to notice you not because you're speaking the loudest, but because your silence carries weight. There's an unspoken power in silence that stems from the ability to listen and observe. When you choose not to speak unnecessarily, you demonstrate restraint and control. This is the mark of someone who doesn't need to fill every silence with words to feel important. Instead, you wait for the right moment, speaking only when you have something meaningful to say. This intentionality shows confidence. It says, I don't need to prove myself. I know my value. Silence is also a tool for maintaining control in challenging situations. When emotions are high, silence allows you to step back, breathe, and approach the situation with clarity. Rather than reacting impulsively, you respond thoughtfully, which often diffuses tension and demonstrates a level-headedness that others respect. This calm demeanor is rooted in confidence. It's the understanding that you don't have to react to everything because you trust your ability to handle any outcome. In interactions with others, silence can be incredibly powerful. When you're silent, you give people the space to reveal themselves. You're not rushing to fill the gaps, which often encourages others to share more than they intended. This ability to listen deeply not only helps you understand others better, but also creates a sense of trust and respect. People feel heard, and in turn they recognize your quiet strength. Silence also shows that you're not seeking validation. When you're confident in who you are, you don't need constant reassurance. You don't have to explain your choices or justify your actions to others. This independence is magnetic. It draws people toward you because they admire your self-assuredness. They see someone who isn't swayed by opinions or pressured to conform, and that kind of confidence is inspiring. Finally, silence allows you to conserve your energy for what truly matters. Instead of wasting time and effort on unnecessary words or arguments, you focus on what's important. This disciplined approach shows that you value your time and energy, and it's a reflection of your confidence. You're not trying to prove yourself to everyone. You're simply living in alignment with your purpose. Silence becomes a statement, one that communicates strength, clarity, and a deep sense of self-belief. The energy you put out into the world has a way of coming back to you. When you approach life with quiet confidence and trust in the process, you naturally attract the right opportunities, people, and circumstances. It's not about chasing what you want or forcing outcomes. It's about aligning your actions, thoughts, and intentions with what you desire, and allowing life to bring it to you in its own time. When you're silent, you're focused inward. You're not expending unnecessary energy trying to control every detail or seeking constant validation from others. Instead, you're channeling that energy into becoming the kind of person who is ready for what you want. This quiet self-assurance acts like a magnet. It draws people toward you, not because you're shouting for their attention, but because your calm presence is compelling. The world responds to your energy, and when you radiate clarity and purpose, the right things naturally align with you. Trusting this process requires patience and faith. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you need to fight for everything or constantly prove your worth. But when you're in tune with your energy, you understand that what's truly meant for you won't need to be forced. That doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing. It means you focus on preparing yourself. You work in silence, building your skills, refining your mindset, and staying open to opportunities. This preparation is what ensures that when the right moment comes, you're ready to seize it effortlessly. Energy works on a frequency. If you're constantly emitting desperation, stress, or frustration, you'll attract more of the same. But when you embody calmness, confidence, and trust, you naturally attract circumstances that match that energy. It's like tuning a radio. You have to adjust yourself to the right frequency to receive the signal you want. Silence is the practice that helps you do this. It allows you to quiet the noise of doubt and fear so you can focus on aligning with what you truly want. There's also a balance to this process. You can't simply wish for something and expect it to appear. You have to take aligned action. But the key is not to act out of panic or impatience. Instead, your actions come from a place of intention and readiness. You trust that the energy you're putting out is setting things in motion, even if you don't see the results immediately. This trust allows you to move forward without the need for constant reassurance, which is a hallmark of someone who understands the power of alignment. When you live this way, you stop chasing and start attracting. People are drawn to your composure. Opportunities seem to find their way to you, not because of luck, but because you've positioned yourself to receive them. You've created the space for things to come naturally, and in doing so, you've opened the door to possibilities that might have otherwise passed you by. This is the power of energy, focus, and trust working together in harmony. Silence has a unique ability to disarm situations and protect your energy. In a world where reactions are immediate and often fueled by emotion, choosing silence can be one of the most powerful tools you have. It's not about retreating or avoiding conflict. It's about preserving your peace, maintaining your control, and deciding how and when to respond. Silence, when used wisely, becomes a shield, guarding you against negativity and unnecessary battles, while allowing you to maintain your composure. When you choose silence in the face of provocation, you're making a statement. You refuse to be controlled by external circumstances. Whether it's an argument, criticism, or someone trying to get a reaction out of you, your silence shows that you're not easily shaken. It's a reminder to others and to yourself that you're in charge of your emotions. By not reacting immediately, you protect your energy from being drained by situations or people who may not deserve it. Silence also gives you the space to process what's happening. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to say or do things you might regret later. But when you remain silent, you give yourself time to think. You step back, assess the situation, and decide on the best course of action. This doesn't mean you're ignoring the issue. It means you're taking the time to respond thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. That pause, that moment of silence, can make all the difference between escalating a situation and resolving it. In many cases, silence can be more powerful than words. When someone is trying to provoke you, they're often looking for a reaction. Your silence denies them that satisfaction. It creates an air of mystery and control. They don't know what you're thinking or how you'll respond, and that uncertainty can be unsettling. By staying silent, you shift the balance of power in the situation. You're no longer on the defensive. You're in control. Silence also communicates strength. It takes confidence to hold back when everyone else is quick to speak. It shows that you're not easily influenced or swayed by the opinions of others. Instead, you're focused on what truly matters, conserving your energy for the things that deserve it. This kind of restraint isn't a weakness. It's a sign of maturity and self-awareness. It tells the world that you don't need to engage in every battle because you're secure in who you are. Protecting your energy is essential in life. There will always be situations and people who try to pull you into unnecessary drama or negativity. By choosing silence, you create a boundary. You make it clear that your peace is not up for grabs. This doesn't mean you avoid confrontation altogether. It means you engage on your terms when it's productive and meaningful. Ultimately, silence is a way of reclaiming your power. It's a reminder that you don't have to meet chaos with chaos. You can rise above it, protect your energy, and respond with intention and grace when the time is right. Silence is one of the most underrated tools for building strength and resilience. In a world filled with constant noise, endless chatter, opinions, and distractions, there's a rare power in stepping away from it all and embracing the quiet. Silence isn't about withdrawing or hiding. It's about creating a space where you can recharge, grow, and prepare yourself for the challenges ahead. It's in that stillness where your greatest strength is cultivated. When you choose silence, you are choosing to focus inward. You give yourself the opportunity to reflect, to think deeply, and to understand yourself better. This is where true strength begins, not in the noise of the world, but in the quiet moments where you confront your fears, acknowledge your weaknesses, and find the courage to rise above them. Silence creates a sanctuary, a safe place where you can reconnect with your purpose and your goals without outside interference. The ability to sit with silence requires discipline. For many, silence can feel uncomfortable or even intimidating because it forces you to face your thoughts and emotions head on. But that discomfort is where growth happens. It's in those quiet moments that you learn to navigate your inner world, to process what you're feeling, and to gain clarity about what matters most. Over time, you develop a kind of inner strength, a resilience that comes from truly knowing yourself and trusting in your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. Silence also sharpens your focus. In a world filled with distractions, it's easy to lose sight of what's important. When you step away from the noise, you eliminate the unnecessary and create room for what truly matters. You become more intentional with your thoughts, your actions, and your energy. This focused mindset is a source of power. It enables you to approach challenges with clarity and purpose, making you more effective in everything you do. Another way silence builds strength is by teaching you to be patient. In silence, there's no rush. You're not competing with anyone or trying to prove yourself. Instead, you're giving yourself the time and space to grow naturally, without pressure or haste. This patience extends to other areas of your life as well. It helps you remain calm in the face of adversity, allowing you to think clearly and make better decisions. Patience, combined with the strength developed in silence, makes you unshakable. Silence also protects your energy, ensuring that you're not wasting it on unnecessary battles or distractions. By choosing when to engage and when to remain silent, you conserve your strength for the moments that truly matter. This deliberate use of energy makes you more resilient and better equipped to handle challenges. You're no longer drained by the noise around you because you've learned to tune it out and focus on what's within your control. In silence, you also find the confidence to stand alone. Strength doesn't always come from being the loudest voice in the room. Often, it comes from being the calmest. Silence allows you to stand firm in your values and decisions without needing the approval of others. It's a quiet yet undeniable power, one that makes you strong enough to weather any storm. In the end, the essence of life's greatest strength lies in the stillness we so often overlook. Silence is not emptiness, it is fullness, a space where clarity, patience, and resilience are born. It teaches us to flow like the river, adapt to the challenges before us, and trust that everything we need will come when the time is right. It allows us to protect our energy, build quiet confidence, and align with the natural rhythm of life. By embracing silence, we reclaim our power, showing the world that true strength does not need to announce itself. It simply exists, steady and unshakable. Let your silence be your strength and your patience be your guide, for in the quiet, everything you seek will come to you, naturally and effortlessly.